Pursuant to Standing Order 98, the member has 12 minutes for his presentation.
Thank you very much, Speaker. It's a great honour for me to rise this afternoon and speak to what I call as a friendly bill, the Liquor License Amendment Act, Maple Wine and Mead 2017, which will amend the Liquor License Act in order to set out conditions that will allow for the safe and responsible sale of both maple wine and mead at farmers' markets in Ontario. As it currently stands, Speaker, the sale of alcoholic beverages at farmers' markets is limited to VQA wines, as well as fruit wine and ciders made of 100% Ontario fruit. Speaker, what is mead? I'm going to tell you. Mead is an alcoholic beverage created by fermenting honey that can produce a beverage that varies in alcohol by volume and can feature a wide variety of flavors and varieties. Mead is considered to be one of the most legendary and oldest recorded alcoholic drinks in the world, dating back thousands of years. Mead is historically traditional Celtic gift given to couples and included in Irish weddings as a toast. Maple wine, on the other hand, is a beverage composed of fermented maple syrup. One of the most popular methods of production is the addition of water to the syrup, as well as yeast to initiate the fermentation process. Due to its sweetness, it is often enjoyed as a dessert wine and can be described as both bold and sweet, and can also be enjoyed as a dessert topping on ice cream, for example, and has even been compared to bourbon. Maple wine and mead products, Speaker, in this province have previously sought out the very sort of increased sales opportunities, such as the one this amendment will allow for access to farmers' market sales. This important change will assist local maple wine and mead producers in expanding their businesses, which will ultimately aid in growing our economy, providing a safe and legal avenue for them to contribute their locally made product to the flourishing farmers' markets throughout this province. Farmers' markets are a staple of our local communities for farmers and families alike across Ontario. Speaker, this issue was brought to my attention by Mr. Ivan Garland and his son James, who are here in the gallery with us this afternoon, and I'd like to welcome them for taking the time to come from all the way from Glengarry-Prescott-Russell, specifically in the Limoges area, to come and listen to the debate on this bill. I'd also like to thank Jocelyn, Mrs. Garland. I hope she's watching, and as well as Sarah, James's fiancée. I quickly noticed the importance of the potential impact, and it was clear and undeniable. And it's my pleasure to bring forward, Speaker, this bill on behalf of my constituents and, of course, the agricultural communities, not only in my riding but throughout the province of Ontario. There are a number of licensed maple wine and mead manufacturers throughout Ontario, some that produce solely maple wine. Garland Sugar Shack in my home riding of Glengarry-Prescott-Russell is an AGCO licensed maple winery. They are a licensed manufacturer and producer of maple products and, of course, maple wine made with Ontario maple syrup. Their business started making iconic Canadian maple syrup with Ivan Garland at the helm in 1978. Recently, they were disappointed when, after spending thousands of dollars and countless hours of thorough work, they were unfortunately denied from being able to proudly present their maple wine at the Ottawa Farmers Market due to the current legislation that's in place. Of course, the Ottawa Farmers Market, Speaker, is in the great riding of Ottawa Centre, home of the Attorney General, the Honourable Yasser Naqvi. Trafalgar Ales and Meads are a year-round mead producer in the great riding of Oakville, Ontario, and have been making mead for over 10 years. They are known to buy and utilize thousands of litres of Ontario wildflower honey and are passionate about the often expensive and challenging mead production and sales industry. In addition to the LCBO, and more recently, in their push to be included into grocery stores, farmers markets may provide another viable outlet to display and sell their locally made mead, made entirely from Ontario honey. And it's great to have the Minister of Agriculture here standing beside me as we work towards passing this bill. Their businesses and other rural Ontario small businesses like them will produce and sell maple wine and mead. They often generate a considerable percent of their sales from farmers' markets, and in the case of the family-owned and operated Garland Sugar Shack, over 95% of their sales are generated from selling their products at these markets.
Is this the Garland Sugar Shack?
This is the Garland Sugar Shack.
Sounds like a great business to me.
It's a great business. Since May 1st,
Probably
2015,
get shut down or a carbon tax, though.
Since May 1st, 2015, the AGCO has permitted the sales of wine at farmers markets and fruit wines since 2016 to great success.
We brought that in too.
We have already seen the impact of allowing locally produced ciders and fruit wines to be sold safely and responsibly at farmers markets across Ontario.
Correct.
And in May of last year, at the recommendation of the Premier's Advisory Council, amendments to Regulation 720 were made to expand the product selection at farmers markets to include 100% Ontario fruit, wine, and cedar.
Sales are booming.
Booming. As of 2016, there were an incredible, Speaker, 250 farmers markets and 99 wineries, as well as 14 fruit wineries that participated in the wine and cider at farmers market programs with sales of, get this, $3.7 million.
Wow.
Maple syrup is already considered a staple by many at our farmers markets. Those amendments, similar to the changes being proposed today, ensured responsible sale of alcohol while facilitating the elimination of hurdles and administrative encumbrance on local Ontario small businesses and the sale of these agricultural products.
Wow.
Madam Speaker, the importance of supporting small businesses is clear and undeniable, and a critical aspect and at the heart of the purpose of this bill. By adding our incredible maple wine and mead products to the list of Alcohol Gaming Commission of Ontario's authorized products sold at farmers markets, we can significantly expand socially responsible access to locally produced agricultural products right here in Ontario.
Hear, hear.
Ontario consumers are passionate and knowledgeable and are increasingly looking to use their hard-earned money to invest in the amazing locally made Ontario products, which helps give back to their own communities and their businesses. Investing in local food and beverages is part of our plan to create jobs, grow the economy, fuel growth, and help people in their everyday lives. An incredible 1/3 of all total workers in Ontario are employed by small businesses. This matches our plan to move forward on initiatives that assist in increasing fairness and opportunity for small and locally owned and operated businesses across Ontario. The goal is to help small businesses, remove barriers, create opportunities, and modernize business relationships with the government. The excellence and quality of our domestic products is second to none. Our locally produced domestic agricultural products are world class, and our wines, including Ontario maple wine and mead, are no exception. Madam Speaker, the importance of supporting Ontario agricultural industry cannot be overstated. VQA wineries have increased by 60%.
What was that number again?
So I'm happy to repeat that, Minister. VQA wineries have increased by 60% since 2009.
I hope Sam was paying attention.
With VQA wine sales alone in Ontario growing by also an incredible 60%. From $196 million in 2009 to $318 million in 2016.
Wow.
These incredible Ontario wines are currently available in farmers markets across the province, and the next logical step is to allow maple wine and mead to be sold and distributed in those same markets. Madam Speaker, as I represent the residents of Glengarry-Prescott-Russell to the best of my abilities, I've had the privilege of meeting some incredible people, incredible entrepreneurs that usually ask nothing in return for the great work that they do in building our local communities, and I was more than happy to do the research required, to find out where the shortfalls were in the legislation, to assist the great constituents that are here, the Garland, Mr. Garland and his son. It's great to advocate for the agricultural community, which is so important in my riding of Glengarry-Prescott-Russell.
Huge.
And support also the Premier's the Premier's goal of creating 120,000 new jobs, and hopefully as this moves forward, their business will expand and there will be another job or two or more, similar to, as the Minister of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs is talking about, Beau's Brewery, who started off just over 10 years ago with 5 employees, are now well over 100, and they continue to grow. And I look forward to supporting Beau's as well. So I'm happy that the Minister is here with me to help me to talk about all the great entrepreneurs in the riding of GPR. And by the way, Beau's Beer is in Mayor Gary Barton's township, right?
Sure is.
Vankleek Hill.
My good friend, Mayor Barton.
So,
one of the best.
Madam Speaker, again, I want to congratulate the Garlands for helping me, prepare for today as well. I wish them all the success in the future and their future endeavors. Today I basically spoke only about their maple wine, but rest assured they sell an incredible number of other maple syrup products right out of their farm, and as well as cookies and whatever. They got beautiful syrup, by the way. And Madam Speaker, just so you know, my grandfather from the Eastern Townships near Richmond, Quebec, was also a maple syrup farmer as well. He had
one of the best too.
Hundreds and hundreds of acres that myself as a young child used to go every weekend in the springtime with the team of horses and the galvanized tank and pour the sap. In the old days, pour the sap, Speaker, right
heated up the wood fire.
Absolutely. We'd go and collect that sap, Madam Speaker. The horses would be working hard. It was the time of my life, and when I look back at being able to spend outdoors as farmers get to do, it's a healthy product. And again, my grandfather did that for almost 2 decades and was very successful producing some high quality maple syrup for customers in the Eastern Townships of Quebec. So having said that, as we move forward with this, this allows for the Garland family to expand perhaps their business and perhaps even purchase some more land, because nowadays, Speaker, most land is getting cleared. For farmland, but we need to make sure that we whatever good wood lots that we have of hardwoods such as maple that can produce quality can have a good rate of return on that as well, Madam Speaker. So I know I got a few seconds left. I want to thank my heckling colleagues beside me for helping me wing this towards the end, Madam Speaker.
No charge.
I'm hoping to have support right across both sides of this House, Madam Speaker.
Well, I hope so.
In moving this forward as quickly as we can and show our support not only for our agricultural communities but for our business as well, and to the many great families that operate our small businesses here in the province of Ontario. Thank you very much.